Hey, good morning, everyone. So here we go. Tuesday, June 2nd. As far as the economic calendar, JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m. That might be a little bit of a market mover. And then that's about it. I don't see any major news on the calendar. Over here, Iran, US has been stopped for at least a few days for what is called the initial memorandum of understanding between Tehran and Washington. So on crude, this is bad news. On the markets, it's bad news. That's why I pulled back, but we're coming right back to where it was. So this was news just a few minutes ago. What I'm looking at right now is gold. And let's bring it up here if I can find, oops, the proper window. No, that's not it. It's having a hard time here. Trading view, too many windows open. It's not that one. It's this one. So gold is at and the market is opening up in a minute. So I don't like taking this right at the open, but we are pulling back into a higher time frame, 50. So I called it higher time frame 50 long because just move that out of the way. These are paper trades that I was setting up just for the possibility. So if we look at the higher time frame, we started buying last night and then started retracing over here. This is close to a 50% retracement. So I do not like taking it right at the open, but it's at a very interesting level. So I'll be looking to see what it does over here again. And I've got an alert there, which I should probably get rid of because the chances there you go. It just went off. Come on. Delete. There you go. So that one just went off. So just at the open right now, we are retracing into the 50 golden zone on gold. So interesting level. MNQ, this is what it looks like right now. So yesterday, if you remember, we went to all-time highs in pre-market, then pulled back. And I was saying that I fully expected all-time highs to be retested. Didn't know if it would be yesterday or some other time, but when this happens in extended trading hours, there's a very high possibility that we're going to retrace or get back to these levels during regular trading hours. So it is what happened yesterday. And then we made new all-time highs and then rejected. So big push up and then started rejecting. And now we're just in this choppy zone over here. I will not do anything over here until the market shows us its hand. I am very interested in gold. I'd like to see if strength comes in here, if the buyers step in, and if they do, there might be a buy opportunity on gold, just to get back to former resistance support here, or possibly the high a day. So that's all I'm looking at right now. I had thought of putting in a limit order over here when I was looking at it earlier, but considering it's hitting right at 9:30, I'm not interested. And it could very well print a kangaroo tail down here. It would be a trendy kangaroo because the trend is higher. If it printed a trendy kangaroo over here, then I might. I would take it in the paper trading, that's for sure. So I might take it live. We'll see. Oil spiking up. This is a recent area of resistance. I can talk about the kangaroo tail. I had mentioned this one right before I logged off yesterday. Oil was strong, but there was a higher time frame resistance level up here, and we can see it right here. right? So it was support, and then later on it opened lower. It became resistance, and then it was resistance again. So this one I took live. This was actually the move down was very, very quick. So my take profit was at 3R, probably right around here, and I moved it down as we were selling really, really quickly. Probably should have put it near the this area right here, because this is where we had chopped. This was not there at that point, but I took it off, and rightfully so, came right back to what would have been the entry. But then later on in the day, fell some more. So let's put this back here. I've got this as resistance because it is a recent resistance. We see it touching over here. So I'd like to see what crude does at this level. I do have an alert here to see what happens. So what's going on oil? Let's see how the first 5-minute candle closes out, and let's see if strength comes back in. I don't know if you guys are talking about anything before I stepped in. I hope I'm not interrupting. If you guys have anything to share, please don't hesitate. If there's stocks, equities that you're looking at, the only thing I won't look at is Forex, because I've never traded it. I mean, I'll look at it because the patterns that we print here work on Forex as well.
Has anybody else seen this big spike up on M2K?
M2K is the only one I haven't looked at. Wow.
And MYM as well, which is weird because MNQ and MES.
Wow.
Yeah, I see it.
What's that all about?
Oops, not what I wanted to do. Let's go back to did I?
Huh.
What happened in my MYM window? Duplicate. MYM GC. MGC, MCL, M2K, MYM. I like having them in order. So that is a massive spike. What I was trying to do was get back to my news screen right over here. Doesn't seem to be anything coming in right now. Yeah, so this move has happened. Right, that is a massive move. I'm going to take that out. Massive volume as well. So on MYM, this is how I would possibly get into a trade after a massive move like this. Wait for a little bit of a pullback. The buyers are absolutely dominating right now. But because price moved so quickly, we missed a lot of buyers. So I'd be looking at the possibility of adding at the 50. M2K, same scenario. Let's get rid of this from yesterday. And by the way, when I do put this on, and when it happens that quickly, I zoom into the 1 minute. Right, and this is where I'd like to see, is there an entry opportunity around the 50% retracement? Very similar situation on M2K. Just went right past the former resistance, which would have been right over here. Now we're looking at this area right here as a potential resistance zone. So let's draw it. and the fibs need to be moved to where we start retracing. If it does come all the way in here, this is a very likely area of resistance. Then there might be a short opportunity to get back into the 50. What's going on with MGC? Nothing yet. Smaller time frame. We had a bullish candle here, right here. A bit of a wick on top, but did not break the high of that bullish 2-minute candle. At this point, it'd be nice to see it wick down and then show a very strong candle. Let's put these on screen. There you go. So I've got the Qs as well as the SPY, MNQ, MES, gold, as well as crude over here. Crude at recent resistance here, only 8 minutes in. Be hard to short this. Yeah, I don't know if anybody caught this move, if there was any. I mean, if you look at the higher time frame, we had a bottom here, came and touched it. This was definitely a large area of support here. And then on a very small time frame, that's 15 minutes, double bottom, right? Somewhat of a double bottom right here, right? But just came from a recent higher up. I mean, it was right at this level. So this is not anything that I would trade, but it's an incredible move nonetheless. Just read that NVIDIA was moving up. I had a nice bullish day yesterday. Very large candle on the open at 4 a.m. And now it's just within that range. Tesla. Tesla, that's the 4 hour. Let's look at the 5 minute. Should be at an area of support in this area, right? Most recently, these were support areas. Let's put a level right here, right? And it just not quite touched it yesterday. So that's the weekly low here. If it came down and put a kangaroo tail at the bottom here, might be an entry. Right? It is above S3, but be preferable if it touched S3 down here. But if it does make it down this area of higher time frame support, then I wouldn't really want to go long below here, because then this would become resistance. Camarilla pivots in a lower range. When we open below R3, it's a sell from R3 to S3. So if you look at the 1 minute, right, came and rejected R3, then put in you'd have to get in on the opening candle, right? As soon as it wicked over here, I know traders that would take this short because they believe in their cam system, but R3 to S3 would have been possible. Again, you'd have to be trading in the first 2 minutes. And then you've got the weekly low over here, which is also a higher time frame low from a few weeks ago. What's gold doing? Chopping around the 50 area. At this point that it touched it and having a hard time making new highs, the only way I would enter is if it came and made a new low and wicked that down here and then showed a lot of strength. And if it can do that closer to 10 a.m., then I might be interested. Other than that, anybody seen anything? Now that we have started pulling back a bit on M2K, right, I'm confident with my levels. Then I would put an alert above the 50 to start seeing or to look at it if and when it hits this spot. Same thing with MYM. Yes, that is a high. Confident in my area, therefore put an alert right above the 50. MCL, I've got my alert. Would have to take out liquidity above here. Actually, my level should be, I'm going to put it right above these wicks here. So that is absolutely resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Does it come and try and hit it a 5th time? That is on the 5-minute time frame. Omar, you're saying on M2K, the 50% retracement that I have from the buying right at the open is right around 29.1830. Right, so these buyers came in with a lot of volume. Right, they came in tons of volume. They likely, these are big players, they likely have more orders to fill in this area, in the golden zone, right? They can't put their entire orders on the line because then they would push price up too much. So that's the whole idea of the 50. I don't know if you've got the same level, could be a strong buy there. I don't know if you've got the same or similar level as what I've got here. Again, this early in the session, I'd like to see it react to this. So it's not necessarily a limit order. And on the way down, I don't want it to be an elevator coming down. I want it to be a stair step, slowly coming down and then finding support at the 50. Gold is just chopping around that level. MCL slowing down at resistance.
I wonder what caused those spikes. Seems strange to me that MNQ and MES were stable and M2K and MYM had that little episode just there.
Yeah, just looking on financial juice to see if there's news. Yeah, you're right. Why M2K and MYM? And not MNQ and MES? Like they're basically doing the opposite. So that's very, very odd indeed. So they're both coming in close. This is a big 5-minute candle here. Right? It's going to print or possibly print on the next candle. It could print a bearish fair value gap. But I will be looking at it anyway because you assume that these buyers here were not necessarily wrong. Right? They're pushing price up, but they're not going to let it come down. Well, anything can happen. But I'm assuming they're not going to let it come back down here unless they've got more orders to fill. There's that fair value gap. It will not form until this candle closes. So we'll see what happens here. This is where, now that it's coming in close, this is where I'd be looking on the 2-minute to see if there's an entry. So we've hit the alert on M2K. And MYM.
I took a long on gold. The thesis behind it is like looking at the 30 minutes. Maybe that was the bigger time frame move to the upside on the pre-market.
Yeah.
And if we look at this as impulse and put the Fibonacci, we'll find that we retraced almost 50%.
Yeah, that's what I've got on my if you start down here, then we did not hit the 50. You're right, almost 50%. But we started buying and then pulled back, and then there was a lot of buying happening right over here. So that's where I put the 50. But again, if I were to put it right around here, then it's definitely in an area of interest. It is a higher time frame area. So M2K, you're going to make me regret not putting in a limit order because it just came in and touched MYM. At this point, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a bullish candle. Right? MYM is just pulling back now.
MCL still holding the line as well, so
yeah,
some divergences today.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have assumed that this would have been, it was resistance, and we just punched right through it. But then on the way down, didn't even hold, didn't even hesitate. just coming down. So I'm glad I didn't put an order in on that. M2K is a bit different, hanging out at the 50. MYN might reverse at the 61.8, or it might not. This is where we look at it. But as far as buying, gotta wait for a signal. All these candles are red. So yeah, just giving it all back. So we are pulling back on declining volume. Take the volume off. I just want to see where the sessions are. Yeah, that is London low and Asia high. So yeah, was it just that the buyers stepped in at Asia high and London low? Right, definitely an area of interest. Take those out.
Sorry, we've got job openings in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 8 minutes, I think. Right, so not to correct it, just to say it's at 10 a.m. Yeah, just for those that are looking at the clock there, it's 10 a.m. We've got job openings. Thank you for sharing. I've got MYM on my other screen. I'm very curious to see if the buyers step in again. Right, we are slowing down. We did take out liquidity below the 61.8. Yeah, so personally not doing anything until after the numbers come out. So not sure what kind of impact they're going to have. For multi-fuel pipeline to oil, gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company plans to create refined oil across the Strait of Vital Trade route has been severely curtailed. Yes. There you go. So economic calendar. We've got these job openings. The forecast is almost identical to the previous. So if this is way different, we could definitely see some movement. Is M2K holding? Still, the pullback was pretty quick. What was that? Gold long.
I'm out of it. It's not working.
Yeah, it's now that I see that my fib should probably be on the higher time frame fib. Where do we start buying? The way that I like to do is I like to go to where we broke, right? We pulled back down here, but the buying really started in this candle and then was confirmed. Actually, it's a 5 minute that I like using. There you go. So the way that I like to see it is it was confirmed over here. This is where we really started printing some fair value gaps. So that's how I like putting in the 50. Right? It's just chopping around there, and it's in the golden zone. So from this area, I do not see a long yet. Especially if you look on the way down, we've got these upper wicks, right? So that's showing rejection. The only way, and I am looking at the possibility of long here, is if it wicked and then showed some strength above the higher time frame 50.
Oil is just coiling around yesterday's close.
Which one is it? Sorry?
MCL. and it feels like it's poised to do something explosive.
Is forming a bit of a triangle, right? And again, this is something that is so news driven that this news over here, and then there's stuff going on with the ceasefire. There's stuff going on with, Israel and Lebanon, and it's incredibly volatile. I haven't checked out the VIX lately. What's that at? And that's something I should have on my.
17.8. Nothing dramatic.
There you go.
We did get a rise yesterday, but it's just one day, so.
Do we not have the same number?
I'm using the VIX futures. You might have the VIX. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So VX1.
VIX.
No, VX.
VX. There it is. Does anybody trade this stuff?
You can do.
Yeah, but I mean, just looking at these candles, they're
Oh, you have to pay for the data package. It is very liquid.
okay. Is that separately than other futures?
Yeah, I think it's on a different exchange to CME. I think it might be ICE or something.
Okay. Well, not something I use often enough. So.
Oh, sorry, it's CBOE.
There's the index. What was that? Go back to gold, which I was interested earlier. I'm no longer that interested. M2K. Wow.
And you can trade the UVXY.
UVXY.
Yes.
There you go.
With its pro.
Pro shares. Yeah, never traded that either.
I traded that a couple of times. I sell puts on it sometimes when the market is directional.
Well, here you go.
So,
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Hamza.
Good morning.
Hello, Gilles.
Hello, Evo. Yeah, so news is out. Seems to not have much of an impact on the market. However, M2K made a new high after this somewhat of a bearish candle. At least it's green, but then rejected right away and wicked it down here. But the 50 area could still be holding on M2K. MYM retraced back down to, that was a massive move, and then just retraced all the way back. That's on a, yeah, look at that. The 5-minute kangaroo tail over here would have worked. At 9:40, had it happen after 10 a.m., I might look at it, but that's a short from there to there. Where's the
forecast was 6.9 million and it came in at 7.6.
Yeah,
it's quite a beat.
Right over here, forecast 7.6. Yeah. Right.
Lots of jobs still available then.
Yeah. So that's just more fuel for the economy to be strong. Anyway, that's the range here for the 3R trade on the kangaroo tail. That's with the very conservative stop. We got to be careful with the KT. The wick can be very long. Sometimes you can go 50% of the wick, or I have done before entry. I think the wick of the entry candle. But a lot of things have to be in line to do that. It has to be at a strong resistance area. And considering MYM is not something I trade often, I probably wouldn't have taken that. So let's take these out. Whoops, too many things to take out. There we go. So this is a very interesting wick here on gold. Curious to see how this candle closes. I came right into the bottom of the 50 zone. And that is very bullish. If we can close near the top and make a new high, that is a very bullish candle. I know it's a little bit hard to see here. Let's get rid of this. I need to go in there and make my wicks thicker, as I do share my screen, and they're a bit hard to see. What are you looking at, Evo?
Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
I was looking at HPE, Hewlett Packard. I think they had news earnings, I think, recently, and also ASTS. I took a good trade on ASTS on Friday. My setup emerged, but my management of the trade led for just like a 1-hour move instead of a 7-hour move. But that's because I moved my stop up a little too much on that one. But otherwise, kind of the usual: Palantir, INTC, Tesla, and SMCI as well.
HPE was the other one. Was it HPE or don't they have 2 tickers?
I'm just aware of one, so that's Henry Paul Edward.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've got there.
And
yeah, aftermarket. Yes. Oh, they had earnings. So they had earnings. 47% surprise. Jesus. That is
what I like is, just looking at the 5-minute chart, the first few 5-minute candles, we've had a drop off in selling volume, and then we sort of had this big hammer in the first green print. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's see if we get a trend established here. So I didn't jump in there, but I think around the 58.20 is kind of an interesting level, because if you kind of go back to the pre-market and after hours from yesterday, prices kind of respected that area and bounced from it around 58.20.
Yeah, the low of the trading session last night after earnings. So the low of this candle over here was 57.56. And then in pre-market, 4 a.m. Or after the 4 a.m. open, we wicked down here, took out liquidity below this, and then touched it again. Have not come down here and touched it again. Personally, I'd like to see it come down here and take out liquidity again and put in a really strong candle at 57.50. That's what the way that I would like to see this, is to show that even during regular trading hours, this is showing as support. Right now, it's just on low volume, right, in pre-market. So,
yeah. And that level, if you throw a fib, Gilles, from the beginning of the move after hours from the prior session, to that top around 65.50, right now the price action is dangling around the 38.2 2% fib level, and actually it's starting to come up now. So,
Yeah.
which usually you like it to get to the golden zone, right? But it seems to be, if it can hold this level, it seems to be like it would be a strong play of the upside.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any extra read on that as well, or?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I'd put an alert right around here. Right, if you're looking at my screen, I'd put an alert here just to see, do we come in? I want to see that this is proven support, right? I might miss it, but that's what I like to see. And for it to come down and wick and touch the 50 before moving up, that would be ideal. So I've got an alert there. So we'll see what happens on that.
I'll do the same. Thank you.
Oh, hey, and that's just the way that I trade, the way that I look at it. It's not necessarily, there's millions of different ways to trade and to look at these things. So, yeah, I'd like to see it come down. I mean, we do have a big fair value gap formed to the downside. So I can do a fib. Where do we start selling? Well, we started selling right at the beginning of this one and over here. So if it does start buying, I would not be surprised for it to hit a wall over here at around the 60-40.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And I mean, it might be over here as well. It might be a little bit higher. The higher seems to be a little bit more touching these as resistance as well. Right, so might be over here, but I'd like to see it come down and prove that this is support during regular trading hours, because all of this was during ETH.
I also like its other candidates, the SMCI. If we get kind of a pullback here, it's looking stronger, and INTC too. It looked like it found its low. It bounced off of that. It's currently above VWAP. So SMCI and INTC, those are two additional tickers I'm kind of watching more closely to see if my setup appears.
This was interesting here on SMCI. Right, we can see that it formed a bit of a pennant or triangle and then just punched out. So if it were to come back down here and retest, I would consider this a breakout here. And then if it came down and retested, but it's made quite the move, 90-cent move over here.
That last 5-minute candle that just finished printing, that came in a very strong volume too.
Yeah.
So yeah, look kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's see. I've got higher time frame levels here on MNQ. I'd like to see what happens at the highs again. I think I've got the same similar levels on MES. For the time being, it's just inside this area where it was in pre-market. So above the pre-market high here might be interesting. If it breaks out over here with momentum, then there is quite a bit of room to the left. For me, it would have to be a breakout and then a retest to get to the highs. We've already done it in MNQ. So this was a shorter time frame resistance level. We punched through it, but then look at the wick on this one. I mean, it punched through, but then it just tanked over here and took out a lot of stops, and now is printing more green candles. So for me right now, there's nothing until it gets to 36.80. Gold, I took out my higher time frame levels. I'll put them back. So higher time frame, we were buying. There we go. This candle I was talking about a few minutes back did not print green. So it was not a trendy kangaroo. Had it printed green and then broke out right after, it could be an indication that the buyers are stepping in. Right now, it's just a wait and see. M2K over here, limit entry would have worked. But then again, would not have worked on MYM. What's going on with copper? Copper is just climbing as well. Copper I was looking at in pre-market. Over here, the 50 would not have worked here. All right, we were buying here unless you started a little bit before or even at the beginning of the move over here. Well, we never pulled into. And I don't like using fibs that are that large.
You know, Gilles, as I mentioned earlier, I was looking at INTC, and one thing that I noticed about this sort of establishment of the low and it popped up, if you look at the volume was decreasing until it punctured the SMA 50. Then we had a little bump up in volume. But with price going up and volume going down, I don't know. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I should see it seems to me an inverse relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so even though I said just a few moments earlier, like, oh, wow, I'd really be interested in this, because I'm seeing that volume profile, that's a no bueno for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna enter it, even though it may do something.
Yeah. And then you look here. I know you're not looking for a massive move, but if you're going long over here, I'm just pointing at all these levels here. I like seeing, if I'm going long, I like to see this. I like to see, let's say I'm going long here. I want to see that there's room, right? There's room there. There's room, right? Even better when there's lots of room, right? Going long. Let me see if there's a spot here, like over here, right? I would not have taken this because it's the breakout and it didn't retest and go higher, but I want to see room to the left, right? Because whenever there isn't room to the left, let's say you're planning on taking a long over here, all these levels here are potential resistance. So that's why when it's inside a zone like this, I find it hard to take a long. Unless if it's a kangaroo tail at the bottom, then, or a double bottom, theoretically, you're going to have resistance because it's making a bottom, right? But at the start of the move, like if I put in a KT over here, at the start of the move, I want to see a lot of room to the left. Right, so this at the low, had it put in the proper pattern here, could have been a long. At this point, it could set up for a future double bottom, but then you'd have to see, or I would have to see, a lot of volume coming in. Like you said, the fact that we're making new highs and volume is decreasing is not a good indicator for a long. And if you're looking at CVD, I didn't know what to expect here, so let's look at it. Price is moving up, and so is CVD. So that's a good sign. Maybe not as much as what price is doing.
But when I see, and I'm trying to train my eyes for those kind of anomalous relationships between price and volume for myself.
Yeah.
And when I see those anomalies, I like to take advantage of them, but they can also be warning stop signs for me, like, this is not ideal. It should not be this way, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if it's not ideal, then, there's nothing.
I'm going to stay out.
Yeah, there's nothing forcing us to take a trade.
But, I'm still going to look at it, because if the volume profile starts to change and I start to see hints that sellers are exhausted, and I start to see a connection between price going up and volume going up, maybe it'll take 45 minutes to occur, whatever, then I'll be looking at that, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
MES seems to be reversing at a recent area of resistance, right where I've got my crosshairs there. And somebody was asking me about the kangaroo tail strategy. If it did take out liquidity, it took out recent liquidity. And when I say that, I just mean that there are stops up here, right? There's definitely some orders that are sitting right here. But yesterday at the open at 6, we started selling right here. I started selling from here. So personally, I'd like it to take out this liquidity. So as far as a kangaroo tail, I want to see room to the left, and there is. But I know that there's orders in this area. So let's put a rectangle here, right? Just in here, right? And the fact that there's yesterday's close in here as well. So for me to think that I want to take a short, I'd like this area to be taken out. So I'm going to put an alert. It's not an automatic short, right? It's not a limit order that I'm shorting over here. I just want to see how it reacts to this area. Do the sellers that presented themselves over here, are they still there? So that's what I'm looking at for MES. MNQ is slowly grinding, right? Slowly grinding and making its way up. So MES, I would assume, is going to continue. Again, just trying to verbalize what's going through my brain when I look at these charts. Right? MGC, I don't see it being too strong yet. This is definitely not a buy yet. MCLs, having a hard time with that recent resistance over here. But again, would I take a KT over here? No. I want this liquidity. I want that white line to prove itself that it is still resistance. I might miss it, but that's okay. But if it does come up here and pop up and then reject it, then yeah, I'd be okay to take a short over here, especially if it's a KT or a double top. Right? It has come from the bottom here. Not ideal as far as a double top. As far as a double top, you really want it to come down from an area, from a low, right? So the KT that I took over here, this was, I talked about this at 10:30 yesterday, right? When we were coming up here, I was saying that there was higher time frame resistance over here. And if it did print a kangaroo tail, which means a candle that it's this one right here, that pokes up and rejects and closes near the bottom. This is very close to the bottom. And then the following candle breaks that low. Well, what happened is that if you go to the 1 minute, you'll see what happened. Right? On the 1 minute, I printed the kangaroo tail, but on the 1 minute, it spiked up and then it started coming down, right? So I entered short over here with a very conservative risk to reward. And this is the actual, I put these levels exactly as where I put them on the live trade. And yeah, put my stop right above that wick of that 1 minute candle. It's hard to see, but it's right there. And then just waited. Then when this happened, my 3R, I think, was right around here. I moved it down. It spiked all the way down and then started coming up again. And it's like, yeah, I'm out. And I'm glad I did, because as soon as it wicked down here at recent resistance, sorry, no, that wasn't there. But you could tell that it was resistance and then it became support. So right at this level is where I took it off at 3.5R. Could have gotten probably 4.5 or 5R had I caught this wick down here, but it happened incredibly fast. And yeah, didn't catch it, which is completely fine. I'm fine with 3.5R, usually fine with 3R. So anyway, that was the KT explanation for the trade from yesterday. You know what? One more thing I wanted to share. While while we're up here. I was looking at this move up here, right? Going up into that resistance level. This is what I was looking at. Follow the candle right there, and then look at CVD. This is a big green candle, but this one is not. And then we're going up sideways on CVD. Up, 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 completely sideways on CVD. Even when we spiked up, we're going down on CVD. If these were aggressive buyers, we would see candles like this on the CVD. So this was just another confirmation. It's not my entry confirmation, but it's just another confirmation that, you know what, the buyers aren't present right now. So we're rejecting. And yeah, that one worked out perfectly. Well, not perfectly. If it was perfectly, I would have held for, you know, down here, but I'm fine with taking 3R. Especially in this market, trying to look and trying to catch those massive moves have been extremely difficult over the last 6 months. So it's better to get a bunch of 3s. Yeah, gold is just, you know, slowly making new lows. And if this closes down here, then you know what, my higher time frame fib over here is no longer pertinent. There's my alert on MCL. Nice big green candle. We are approaching 1030. What I am looking at is, will we reject this level here? So if it put in a long-tailed wick, let's look at CVD as well. There you go. So we are climbing, and CVD is climbing as well. Okay, but I want to see, what does it do right at this level? I will put it on my trading screen because I might take a position in this. MCL, 5 minute. Limit order. So the thing is, because we have not been here in a while, putting a stop might be a little bit difficult here. So I want to see what the candle does. If it does print a wick and rejection, then the stop would be right above there. I mean, very conservative stop would be above R3 or above higher time frame resistance. And we couldn't make it any higher than this yesterday, so that would be a very aggressive stop. But to get 3R, I'd have to get down to the 60s again. Entry would be below here. Bitcoin down almost 5% to 67,800. Wow. Anybody trading Bitcoin? I don't know how that Michael Saylor sleeps at night.
I'm waiting for the day when I can wake up and just put all my life savings into it.
Yeah, is there a level that you're looking at?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. No. Life savings in what was it, 2011? You know, when it was.
I do think there's an opportunity building in terms of intraday, because we're well past ATR, and I mean, even if it's just a quick bounce, like a few thousand points.
Hamza, I wonder, like in this environment, with the market continuing northward, I thought that risk on plays like Bitcoin would be of interest, but Bitcoin is sold off, and I'm just kind of wondering if just the money is rotating into AI plays and the semis, and they're
Yeah, I
like,
think, that's been happening for quite a while. Plus, it's no longer the new thing, I guess. It's no longer the new fad. And they are very sensitive to interest rate environments. So they tend to perform better when everybody's expecting that cheap money. Personally, I don't understand one thing about Bitcoin, if I'm honest. I don't understand blockchain or crypto or any of this stuff. I don't really know the technology or anything like that. So probably the wrong person to ask.
yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around. It's not easy. It's complex.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like there might be like a bit of a mean reversion opportunity building, but beyond that, I have no opinion.
On M2K, I would not be trusting this this pullback here, as in this drop. I do not feel that it's going to come all the way up here and then drop and make new lows. If it's going to drop, it's going to come out and get liquidity up here. What this pullback is right now, definitely it looks like a 50%, right? From where we really started buying was up here. Let's put the fib here and here. There you go. Pulling back into the 50. Can you find a buying opportunity here? I don't know. We'll see. On the 5, I don't know where my fair value gaps are, but there's a fair value gap that printed here on the way down, which is not ideal. But this is what I'm going to be looking at. I mean, to take a long and just aim for the highs. MES, similar. It did not take out liquidity in that zone here, but is it just a pullback right now? So from the open to the highs, right? We dipped into the golden zone and now we're buying. So I don't know. Was this an opportunity to buy? Maybe. I don't like it because there's definitely some, well, not definitely, I should be careful of the words I use. There's likely or possibly resistance in this area. So, but is it possible to make 3R in that small area, right? With a limit order, right? When you're waiting for a 1 minute or 2 minute candle, sometimes you don't get the entry. But with a limit order right here with your stop at 61.8, I mean, can I get to 3R before getting to the highs? Yep. Pretty much there now. Right? Entry right there. Is it possible to get the 3R? Yep. That's why I aim for it, because it often, very often, fills. So with that, it's 10:30. The room remains open. Hopefully everybody has a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow. Right.
Thank you, Joe.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for
Adios.
participating. All right. Cheers.